in the quiet, isolated town of Harrow's Edge, where shadows clung to the edges of dilapidated houses and the wind whispered. Through the skeletal branches of ancient trees, there stood an old, decrepit house that seemed to breathe with a malevolent life of its own. The townspeople avoided it, whispers of its haunted past echoing through the collective memory of Harrow's Edge. Like a chilling refrain, in the autumn of 2020, a mysterious figure arrived in town, seeking refuge from a troubled past. The stranger, a woman with a haunted expression and eyes that seemed to carry the weight of the world, took residence in the long-forgotten house, the edge of Harrow's Edge. Nobody knew her name. She kept to herself, shrouded in an air of secrecy that only fueled the rumors surrounding her. As the days turned into weeks, the townsfolk couldn't help but notice strange occurrences in the vicinity of the old house. Lights flickered in the windows long after midnight, and eerie shadows danced on the curtains, giving the impression of a macabre ballet within. Whispers of disembodied voices wafted through the air, barely audible but unmistakably present. One by one, the curious residents of Harrow's Edge succumbed to the lure of the mysterious dwelling. They gathered in hushed groups, speculating about the enigmatic woman and the secrets she harbored. Some claimed to have seen her wandering the overgrown garden at night, her silhouette twisted and elongated in the pale moonlight. Others spoke of strange noises emanating from the depths of the house, like the agonized moans of tortured spirits. The more the townspeople spoke, the more they found themselves drawn to the mystery that had taken root at the edge of their town. It was as if an invisible force compelled them to unravel the secrets hidden within the walls of the forsaken house. Late one moonlit night, a small group of brave souls gathered at its doorstep, armed with flashlights and trembling anticipation. The creaking door swung open with an eerie groan, revealing a dimly lit interior suffused with an otherworldly atmosphere. The air was thick with a sense of foreboding. As the group ventured further into the house, their footsteps echoing through the dilapidated halls, rooms unfolded before them like chapters in a haunted saga, each one telling a different tale of the house's unsettling past. Forgotten photographs lined the walls, capturing moments of joy that had long since turned to dust. Dust-covered furniture lay draped in ghostly sheets, frozen in time like silent witnesses to the passage of years. As they explored the labyrinthine corridors, the group felt the temperature drop, and a haunting melody whispered through the air, a mournful piano tune that seemed to seep from the very walls. The air became charged with an otherworldly energy, and shadows moved with a life of their own. In the heart of the house, they discovered a hidden door, its surface etched with arcane symbols that seemed to writhe and pulse. Hesitant but compelled, they pushed it open, revealing a staircase that descended into a lightless abyss. The group, their curiosity now transformed into an insatiable hunger for answers, descended into the depths. As they reached the bottom, they found themselves in a vast, cavernous chamber, the walls adorned with strange symbols and grotesque depictions of faces contorted in agony. In the center of the room stood the mysterious woman, her eyes ablaze with an otherworldly light, with a voice that resonated with an ancient power. She spoke of a pact made in desperation, a bargain struck with forces beyond mortal comprehension. The house had become a vessel for unspeakable horrors, a gateway to a realm where the boundaries between the living and the dead blurred into nothingness. The group, paralyzed by a mixture of fear and fascination, listened as the woman revealed her own tragic tale, a tale of loss, regret, and a desperate yearning for redemption. The malevolent force that gripped the house had consumed her soul, and now it hungered for more. As the realization dawned on the intruders, the very walls of the house seemed to groan and writhe. Shadows coalesced into nightmarish forms, and the air became heavy with an oppressive malevolence. The group, now trapped in a realm between the living and the dead, felt the very fabric of reality unraveling. Desperation etched across their faces. They scrambled back up the staircase, pursued by the encroaching darkness. The air grew thick with a suffocating dread, and the once faint whispers now roared in their ears like a cacophony of tormented souls. The symbols on the walls seemed to pulse with a sinister energy, guiding the way for the spectral entities that emerged from the shadows. The house itself seemed to rebel against their escape, its ancient timbers groaning and moaning as if it resented the intrusion. The group, gripped by a terror beyond comprehension, stumbled through the decaying halls, desperately seeking an exit that remained elusive. In the final harrowing moments, the group found themselves back at the front door, the threshold between the haunted house and the outside world. But as they crossed it, the very fabric of reality seemed to tear asunder, and the house claimed its final victims. The town of Harrow's Edge woke the next morning to find the old house at the edge of town reduced to ruins, a silent monument to the horrors that had transpired within. The mysterious woman, the group of brave souls who dared to uncover the secrets, and the malevolent force that had bound them together were all gone, leaving behind only the chilling echoes of a tragedy that would haunt a town for generations to come. And so Harrow's Edge remained a town with a dark secret, where the past and the present were forever entwined in a web of supernatural terror. The ruins of the old house stood as a grim reminder of the thin veil that separated the world of the living from the realm of the dead, a boundary that, once crossed, could never be unmade. The town's once curious residents now averted their gaze from the shattered remnants of the house, understanding that some mysteries were best left undisturbed, lest they awaken something that should forever remain in the shadows. Years passed, and the town of Harrow's Edge tried to bury the memory of the horrifying events that had unfolded within the walls of the old house. The ruins became a grim landmark, avoided by locals who whispered cautionary tales to their children, ensuring they steered clear of the cursed ground. But the haunting legacy persisted, seeping into the collective consciousness of the town like a dormant virus, waiting for the right moment to resurface. It was on a stormy night, with lightning slashing across the sky and thunder rumbling like the growls of an angry deity, that a curious group of teenagers decided to challenge the town's unspoken taboo. Drawn by the allure of the unknown and fueled by the rebellious spirit of youth, they ventured towards the ruins of the old house, determined to unravel the mysteries that had eluded their predecessors. The wind howled through the skeletal remains of the structure, carrying with it whispers that seemed to beckon the teenagers forward. The ruins, now overgrown with thorny vines and choked by the relentless passage of time, seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy that intensified as they approached. As the group cautiously entered what remained of the decaying halls, the air grew thick with an oppressive force, Shadows danced on the walls, taking on twisted shapes that seemed to mock the intruders. The teenagers pressed on, their flashlights cutting through the darkness like feeble beacons in the void. Descending into the depths of the ruins, they discovered the same eerie chamber where the previous group had faced the malevolent force. The symbols on the walls seemed to writhe with a newfound intensity, reacting to the presence of the intruders. The air became charged with an unnatural electricity, and the haunting melody of a long-forgotten piano echoed through the cavernous space. In the center of the chamber stood the spectral figure of the mysterious woman, her eyes aflame with an ancient power. The teenagers, frozen in a mixture of fear and fascination, listened as she spoke of the curse that bound the house and the insatiable hunger that lurked within its depths. The woman implored them to turn back, to escape the clutches of the malevolent force before it was too late. But the allure of the unknown proved too strong, and the teenagers, emboldened by their youthful arrogance, pressed on, determined to confront the supernatural entity that dwelled within. As they delved deeper into the ruins, the very fabric of reality seemed to warp around them. Hallways elongated into nightmarish corridors, and doorways led to otherworldly realms. The boundaries between the living and the dead blurred, and the teenagers found themselves trapped in a nightmarish labyrinth where time itself seemed to lose its meaning. The malevolent force, awakened by their intrusion, manifested in ghastly forms, shadows that whispered forgotten secrets and apparitions that bore the weight of unfulfilled destinies. The ruins echoed with the tortured cries of souls, ensnared by the curse, each one a testament to the tragedy that had befallen those who dared to disturb the ancient slumber of the old house. In a desperate bid for escape, the teenagers retraced their steps, but the ruins seemed to shift and morph, disorienting them at every turn. The once familiar corridors now twisted into incomprehensible mazes, and the haunting melody of the piano reached a fevered pitch, its dissonant notes resonating with the souls that lingered within. As the group approached the entrance, a blinding light enveloped them, and the ruins seemed to collapse upon themselves. The world warped and twisted, and for a moment, it seemed as if the very fabric of reality was unraveling. Then, in an instant, everything fell silent. The storm outside had ceased, and the ruins of the old house lay undisturbed, reclaimed by the encroaching vines and the relentless march of time. The town of Harrow's Edge, once again, found itself haunted by the specter of tragedy, and the memory of the ill-fated teenagers became just another chapter in the town's dark and mysterious history. The ruins stood as a stark reminder that some secrets were not meant to be unearthed, and the malevolent force that lurked within the old house, now sated for the moment, slumbered once more, waiting for the next curious soul to wander into its grasp. The town, forever shadowed by the events of that stormy night, carried the weight of its haunted history, a history that whispered through the rustling leaves and lingered in the hollow echoes of the forsaken ruins